welcome to my channel. So I have been on a bit of a sorting day, and I thought I'd let you know where I'm up to and how I store a few of my embellishments and stuff. So I do have some iris containers, and they're in a drawer with like white embellishments, black embellishments, etc. Now I have found, since I've changed the way I do Project Life, so I used to do it on black and white cards, and then I used to pick a colour to embellish with. So I used to grab that coloured box and it was great. Since then, I can't remember the last time I've been in these boxes, which is probably bad. So I tend to find that I sway more towards the other way of storing my embellishments. So I'm going to go more in depth to that, and I will touch on how I'm planning on bringing these back into the story. So many of you will have seen this box when I'm doing my Add the Stash videos. This is where I tend to put anything that fits that size. So it's a tub from IKEA. I've got a little label on the front saying stickers. That's because I said IKEA. I've just picked up some new scissors from IKEA this evening. So anyway, this is what I tend to store all of my, well, it started off as enamel dots, enamel shapes, all those little bits. And it did sort of grow into this is working. I like the fact that I can flip through. So when I'm doing a Project Life spread, I tend to flip through, anything grabs my idea for colour, out it comes, and then I work with that. And then if I need something else, I go back. So I've just, mainly on this now, I've had a sort out and a bit of a destash of stuff that I've not touched. So I've still got all my enamel shapes and random bits and pieces. They're all in the front. A lot from Freckle Fawn kits when I used to get those. There's a lot now from Studio Calico because I like to pick up their cheap kits. So there's all sorts of things. I've basically gone through, taken them out of the packaging, stapled them, and that's sort of what I've done with all of them. Then we go on to a bit more. I have squoze this ephemera in my type of packaging, just because the stickers are there that match and they're, you know, similar. Then we've got a few more different bits. Here's some of the new pieces that I've picked up that I liked, but I don't have the whole collection, so they're not in my collection boxes. And then I've opened up all the Simple Stories stickers that, again, I don't have the collection for. So there's a lots of word stickers and tab stickers and all sorts of stuff in there. Then there's some of my older ones that I already had, but I thought I might use them more if I flip through, but I'll keep them together so that I can just pull them out if I want to use stickers. And then we've got a few more of the acetate words. So I've mainly gone through and culled a bit, but they are, and then there's my Tim Holtz word stickers. So that is how I use for all my embellishments that aren't part of a collection. So collections I do tend to scrap personally in collections, so they tend to stay together. But this is where I put all my enamel dots and my other bits otherwise. So that's there, and this sits on the shelf on my Expedit just under my desk next to this, which I'm going to go into now. So let's pop that out the way. So this is just a basket. It's the only basket I've found that I can get to fit the, well, even 6x6 pads, but the Kaiser are 6.5 paper pads. So it needs to be big enough to fit those in as well. This is the only thing I've found. I've seen them in B&Q. I picked this one up from the range because it was cheaper. They do come in brown as well as cream. So in here, I've also had a cull of my 6x6 paper pads that were looking a bit worse for wear, but I want to use these more for Project Life. Or that's what I tend to buy them for, is for Project Life. but I have quite a few new ones where I've bought some embellishments to go with, and I wanted to be able to keep them together with it. So I've still got quite a few 6x6 paper pads in my collections, and I do use my collections for Project Life, and in turn will use the 6x6 paper pads then, but I have also bought some that are just 6x6 paper pads and I don't have any 12x12. So for example, I've just recently picked up the Pink Fresh Studio Dream On. I didn't get any of the big ones. So this goes in here, and in front of it I've got the embellishments and the rubber chips. So they're together. I've then got Little You, which I picked up not because I need to scrap babies, but because the paper pads were cute. And then I did pick up the little wood embellishments, so they're in with it. Simple Stories, I got a few different bits for this one. So I got the brads, the die cuts and the stickers. So for now they're all with the 6x6 paper pad. Once the paper pad becomes bashed, then these two will go into my normal little blue tub, and this one being wider will move into the front, which I'll show you in a moment. Then we have Project Life High Five, of which I've just got the chipboard in there, and then we go through, actually that's got caught up. So we've got, so My Mind's Eye. These don't particularly have embellishments until we get nearer the back, and we have Kaiser with Chase Rainbows. And that's the only one of those. I did get one sheet of paper. Sorry, you can't see. I got one sheet of paper that was 3x4 or cut apart. So I just chopped that up and popped it back in. So my plan is to try and use some of my 6x6 paper pads with their coordinating embellishments, as well as using my packs. And then it actually worked out, by the time I had finished sorting everything out, I had 5 different embellishment packs that weren't with a collection. So Happy Place, I've pretty much used that collection, all the papers I had. Then there was Life in Colour, which I didn't get the paper collection for, but I did get the die cuts. And then these are all Elle Studio. Now, what made me put all these in here was partly because there was room in the front, and they live next to my embellishments anyway, but also because Elle Studio, they tend to all be 3x4 cards, which are stored with my 3x4. So they're still with my embellishments, they're handy, but they're together and more likely for me to find them than rummaging. And then lastly, I've just got a couple of wood pieces that were a bit too big. They could float around in the other tub, but at least now I've got all those wood bits together. So that's how I've stored those, and that sits next to my box on my shelf. Now, when I went through and sorted out, I did have a few pieces that were more dimensional pieces. So I had a couple of wood chips, which could go into my wood box, some acrylic stars, and some little really thin wood veneers from Elle Studio, some little acetate stars from Freckled Fawn that were going to get lost. These owls, recent purchase from Australia, and some sequins. And what I decided to do was keep these into a little pot. I have wooden storage. I don't particularly have storage for acrylic shapes because I don't have many. Again, with these acrylic numbers and with sequins, I don't particularly have a storage solution for them because I don't have enough. And I don't think of them when scrapping. I actually don't think of my wood stuff enough. So when I nipped to IKEA this afternoon, the main thing I was going for, well, my daughter wanted to go. My excuse in my head for going was for these little tubs. Was I picked up a couple of these and was going to use them just for my wood embellishments. With having a sort out, it's become a mixture, but the idea is that I'll be able to get these used and not forgotten about. In a second one, I've put a few random die cuts. So some of these die cuts, or even stickers, were left over from a kit where they were a collection, but there was actually only a couple left. And there's 2 different collections here, I think. So they're in there, along with the 2 from the Kaiser collection that were too big. And then some random packs from Studio Calico with little acetate shapes in or die cut shapes in. So what I've decided to do is use the second one for those, in the hope that I'll reach for them. And then the third one is empty. And that is so that when I am working with a collection, I can tip the die cuts in to rummage around while I'm using them, and then put them back into my storage to go away. So these sit on a little unit just to the right of me. And behind that unit is this box, which is also from IKEA. It used to hold my Destashings, if you can see by the old label that's crooked. But this is from, and this has just got my stuff in that is too wide. So I don't have a lot that's too wide, and I am trying to use most of it up. Mainly there's a few Freckle Fawn kit bits, some L Studio puffy stickers that I've recently got, and Me and My Big Ideas sticker books. They actually don't fit in. They'd fit in with the 6x6 pads, but they don't fit in with the rest. I've then also got a couple of snap packs, which won't be broken up until I get into them, and then some sticker sheets, 12x12 sticker sheets that I don't have the collections for anymore, and one big sticker sheet from Studio Calico. So this sits to the right of me, and again I'm hoping to be able to rummage through big stuff, small stuff, and get going. So the last bits I have to sort out, I did have this bag full of bits from Studio Calico kits. So one of them is these really weird squares. Though I'm not the chipboard. I'm not quite sure what these are for, and for some reason I have 2 lots. I don't even know what size they are, but I was thinking of trying to make a layout from them, you know, and do a grid layout, but to be honest, it ain't going to happen. So they're going in my giveaway bag. Gone. I've then got a couple of other bits here. Again, these are all when I've pulled apart Studio Calico kits. I've tried to use them before. I used a couple, not used many. Time for them to go. We've got a little word wish. That's cute. So that can go into there. I also really quite like these, especially these little copper ones, little hexagons. But I forget they're there. By the time you get to small bits, you're not rooting through your stash. So they can go into this little tub. Those little numbers, they're in the go bag. Sticky notes, go bag. Past, present, future, I think they are in circles. Again, I've had something very similar from Freckle Fawn and I did use them, but I did just get rid of my last lot of them, so again they can go. Being honest with myself and harsh. They're cute little triangles, they can go in there. And then lastly, these little rubber shapes, which I do like little rubber shapes. But again, I don't particularly have a storage place for rubber shapes, so these can float about in this pot, and if we ever have a summer, I might get through them. So that little pot's got quite a few different bits in there now, but at least they are handy, which they weren't before, and that's that other bag gone. So that's where I'm up to on my organisation. If you have any questions or you want to see anything more about the embellishments in a bit more detail, I know it's not the best way of storing them, but I do have to think of what works for me. It's not the neatest, it's not the tidiest, but the fact that collections are together works for the way I scrap. So have a think about the way you work and see what will work for you. But if it's helped, that's great. If it hasn't, let me know your thoughts and comments. Maybe what you do would actually suit me better than I think. So I'm always up for more ideas, and I'll speak to you again soon with the next one.